Hi guys, it's Anya from Interior Design Hub, back again today with another video. Today, it's a special request video. It's actually going to be about the NCIDQ exam and how to pass. Alright guys, so today's video is a follow-up video to my other video on the NCIDQ exam and whether it's worth it to write it or not. I will link that exam up here, there, somewhere, and put it there for you guys to watch just in case you're curious a little bit about my own process of going through the exam. However, today I'm actually going to get into how to pass the exam and what I did to pass it. You know what? I'm talking a lot. I need a coffee break. I'll be right back. So we're gonna get into exam day. What is exam day like? So first of all, you do write these exams at a Prometrics testing center. So you'll find one close to your area, close-ish to your area. So if you have to make arrangements, so you just want to kind of plan that out. Also, you know, for me personally, I wanted to plan my day for I didn't want the exams back to back, but I didn't want them spread out either. So I think you can do like the IDPX and the IDFX like on the same day if you're that brave, but there was no way I was sitting through both of those exams in one day. So I did back to back in days. I did my IDFX first, and I did that on a Tuesday. And then I did on a Wednesday, I did my IDPX, and then I waited a week, and I failed it, so I don't think I should have done that, but I waited a week, and then on the following Tuesday, I did my Prac 2.0. And I think if I had just done the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I would have passed it the first time, because I felt like that week off, my brain was just kind of fried from those first two exams, that I kind of took a step back and was like, oh my gosh, and I lost that momentum a little bit. Not that I didn't know the materials, but I only failed by 7 points. So I just feel like if I had just done it like 3 days, like each day doing one, I just would have been so in it and then done. So that's my advice for like scheduling the actual exams, but you can schedule it however you want. I also chose not to do it on a Monday or a Friday because I just felt like Friday I'm ready for the weekend, and Monday you're always like, it's Monday. So and I'm also like a little bit of a nerd and kind of search like when's the best time for you to write an exam, and it did say Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so there was a thought to that too, because yeah, anyways, I really wanted to pass. So the morning of my exams started, I scheduled them for lunch hour. I did it at that time because I was thinking like, okay, Tuesday, like during the week on a Tuesday, like if there was something wrong on the highway for my drive-in, I didn't want to have to worry about it. So I did schedule it for 12:30. And that way I was able to like leave super early in the morning, and I figured as long as I'm there, I could hang out, study, whatever. So what I did to prep for my exam was the night before, or like the day before, I didn't really study. I just kind of quickly perused some of my notes. I made sure I went to bed really early. I did all the things that you're supposed to do, right? I got a good night's sleep, and then I did wake up and I made like the biggest breakfast ever. What I wanted to do was I didn't want to feel hungry or anything, so I made like a full like bacon and eggs breakfast both days, because I always find when I go out to eat and I have bacon and eggs for breakfast that I'm like not hungry till dinner time. So I was thinking that mentality. I'm like, this is going to satiate me for the whole day. And then I did bring like a little power bar just to have right before the exam, because once you're in the exam, like, yes, they would allow you to leave to go for a bathroom break, which is a whole process in itself, but you don't, like, the timer's still going. So I don't recommend it if you don't need to. And it's pretty high security. So like they have a locker, you put all your stuff in there, at least here. And I'm pretty sure this is probably very similar to most testing centers. So you lock up all your stuff. They do like with the little scanny thing, like to make sure you have nothing on you. I don't know what it was. They check all your pockets. Like it's a full, like, it's like going through the airport. Like you're screened, and then you go into your little pod study Carol, something like that, with your computer. And they do offer you like headphones, like noise canceling headphones. Honestly, the only sound was like the HVAC running. So I guess if that bothers you, They have that available. And there's a lot of other people there writing. Like I think there was seats for about 12 people in the one that I went to. But they're all writing different exams. It's not like you're writing the same exams. And everybody has different like abilities. As in like some people can take a lunch break. So some people do come and go just because it's different exams. So they're not the same setup as yours. So our exams, all 3 of them, you are allowed to leave for a washroom break if needed. Again, you have to go through the whole security process. You lose the time on the timer. And I found I couldn't afford that. Like I needed all those minutes. They provided you with like this paper, like a laminated paper, graph paper, and a dry erase pen. So basically you could like work out different things and then wipe it if you needed to. You brought in your ID and your locker key, and that was it. Like there was nothing provided. Oh, and a calculator. There was like a very basic calculator. So that's all you had to go into the exam. And again, it's a single screen. So there's a lighting calculation question, which is pretty typical. They've always had that on there. So you had to go and like reference it. And I found like the flipping from page to page, there was it's a slight lag, but it's annoying when you're like watching that clock. So yeah, so there's definitely a lighting equation question. There was stuff about electrical, GFCIs, like how does the electrical current work? I cannot remember which exams some of these were on. I think those were both on the second one. There was a questions around acoustical materials and sound absorption, STC ratings. There was questions on the design process, bubble matrices. There was like filling in the blanks like I had shown you on that other drawing of like labeling doors and like the entire like jam system and sills and all that stuff. Fire rated walls. You really need to know like if it could kill you, you need to know it. I know that sounds like so bizarre. Fire rating stuff is huge. You really got to know that inside and out. There's another one that wasn't so much on my exams, but my girlfriend said on hers, it was about the divisions and like you actually needed to memorize it. Now, let me see. I had this all written out and I've scared people with it because it's a little much, but there's like a way to remember stuff. Like, you know, you create a little song. So the divisions, I'm gonna take a picture of this. So my girlfriend on her version of this, there's many versions of this exam. She had a lot of questions on this. So she said memorize it. So I had like P, G, E, C, M, M, W, T, O, F, S, E, F, S, C, F, P, H, I, E, C, E. I know, but that's how I remembered it in my head. So I had like a little do, do, do. And that's how I remember. This was really hard to memorize. And the first thing I did when I got into the exam was I wrote it on that little piece of paper thing that they gave us. So I actually like just did that first because if it came up. And then on top of it, it wasn't on any of my exams. I had like three division questions on the whole thing. So like, and they weren't that hard. So I was just like, ugh. Whereas she had a lot more. So she felt it really useful. So it really depends on the version you get, but that was a really big thing that I figure I'll share with you. Whatever I can remember, I will share. So the nice thing is too, you find out like right away if you pass or fail. I think it just sends you an email about like within an hour afterwards. It's not your official mark, but basically you're like, oh my God, okay, I passed. Cool. Or I didn't pass. Oh my God. For the first two, I should clarify, sorry. You find out for the IDPX and the IDFX if you pass right away. The PRAC 2.0, you still have to wait. Now, it's not the 16 or 18 weeks or whatever it was like back in the day when you had to handwrite it, but I believe it's 6 to 8 weeks. I feel like 6 weeks is when I got it. And like I said, I did fail it the first time. Well, technically the second time, but the first time in the new model by 7 points. And it's not like, I think I just didn't focus enough on the PRAC in my studying. I was so concerned with understanding the IDPX and IDFX that I really didn't focus on that one as much as I should have. Because I found the timing really hard for me. I found it really like that 4.5 hours. It went by like this and I just could not, I barely finished it. Like I probably had to blow through the last 10 questions with like, I was just the panic was real. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe because that timer was so close. I couldn't check anything. It was painful. The second time I wrote that exam, because I tackled it the same way, but just I knew the timing situation, I ended up having about 20 minutes at the end to actually like go back and review things. So like huge difference from like this, like, oh my God, I'm gonna run out of time. And if I don't answer all the questions, then it's an automatic, not an automatic fail of the exam, but like I knew I barely was gonna pass. Like I kind of knew that, like I had that feeling about halfway through, like I'm struggling with this exam. And a lot of it was the timing. Like I felt like the first time I went into that exam, that timer for me stressed me out. And I feel like it just set me, like when I saw how long it took me to do the first few questions, the panic started and I couldn't get out of it. Try not to do that. I know that's hard to say and like hard to say to you guys, like don't do that. But I think with the Q-Prac, the second time I really focused on just those Q-Prac exam modules and then doing the timed ones and just getting faster because it wasn't lack of knowledge. I really knew my stuff. Like I knew my stuff. It was just speed. I wasn't fast enough. Another thing was referencing that building code that I talked to you guys about, being able to just know it. So like the second time I did it, I knew most of it and I literally just verified a couple things. So I didn't waste my time flipping screens like I had the first time. So that was another really big tip for me to pass and do well, like just learning it more thoroughly for that one. So that would be like another way to tackle that exam. So for the practicum exam, I would say if you really are feeling the nerves around that one, I would say separate that one. That's kind of my thought process. And I know like a lot of people really struggle on the IDPX exam. That is definitely the most challenging one out of the three. So IDPX section exam acknowledges competency in professional practice, building systems, integration, contract administration, project coordination, contract documents, product and material coordination, codes and standards. So it's a very heavy exam, and it's the technical stuff. This is the stuff you learn at work, I would say. Like the practicum is drawing based. I guess I should mention that. So it's 3 drawings. So you have a residence drawing, you have a small commercial, like 1 suite, and then you have a large building. So the practicum exam is those 3 drawings, and all of your questions are based on those drawings. And each drawing is in its own section. So you start with the residential one. It's usually just FYI, where they do all the accessibility stuff. So know that. And then the second one is like a suite. So whether it's like a cafe or maybe a restaurant or a retail space or something, but it's just 1 suite. And then the large building is going to go into a whole bunch of suites. So there's going to be a lot of calculations for egress, paths of travel. It has like your distancing in that one. And then, even calculating like some of the tenant, like where do you calculate for your tenants and stuff like that. So the large building one is like a whole floor of like an office building, like where there's lots of different suites. And then during the exam, you do each section, and once you're done and like check that section, once you're out of it, you can't go back to it. At the end of each section, if there's something that you need to go back and review, you have to do it then and then move on to the next section and then do that building or the suite. And then once you're done, you have a check it, and then to the next. And then you cannot go, like if you're at the end of the exam, you can't go back to your residential portion and check that one over. Okay, so little FYI about that one. Yeah, but the hardest thing with the exam information wise is definitely your IDPX. So your IDPX, because of all the technical stuff, is the one that stumps a lot of people. Not stumps because they don't know it. It's so heavy that it's usually where people don't necessarily pass on the first time. So just FYI, that is the one that is the meaty one. It's got all the stuff. So that's my 2 cents. So that's how I passed the NCIDQ exam. I mean, it's a lot. I feel like I thought this would be a little bit of a quicker video. And actually going through it, I'm like, wow, yeah, this was a beast. You can do it. I don't give up. It's a lot of information to digest. And you know what? If you have to do it one at a time, do it one at a time. Do it whatever way works best for you. You know yourself better than anyone else and what your study methods are and what your retention level's like. So honestly, it's so worth it. It's a lot of work, and I know it's a little overwhelming when you start, but trust me, you guys, you'll get through it and then you'll pass. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know below. If you have a video suggestion, definitely reach out and let me know what you'd like me to cover. And if you guys are liking this content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, bye. So, back to my other point. Blah, 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 blah. Show the other video. Come back to this video because I totally pieced it. Okay. Hopefully when I edit this, I can put this in the right spot.